Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1428 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey as I transition from brick and mortar corporate America to the online world of business and back and forth, mostly both now in 2020 and 2021. Why? Because COVID blew everything up, and I decided I was going to blow everything up in the way I do things and really look at what do I want to do? What do I want to be sharing? And so today I call this one end of the year catch up. Why? Because during the holidays and at the end of the year, there's all kinds of little things and little loose ends that I like to tie up at the end of the year. So I'll be working on those this week because this is the last week of 2021. Amazingly enough, sometimes like going on vacation, it feels like the beginning, it's going to last forever. And then a couple days into it, all of a sudden you're at the halfway point and you realize everything else is downhill or ramping up to going home or finishing the year. And sometimes it sneaks up on us, sometimes it doesn't, but lots of end of the year things to tie up and flow into getting ready for next year. So lots of business things, lots of personal things, lots of other things that we like to do, or I like to do at the end of the year. So curious, what are the things that you do at the end of each year? Do you goal set? Do you set your goals for next year? Do you check in and see where you are with this year's goals? Do you set goals at all? Because the vast majority of the people actually do not. Most people on the planet do not set goals, don't have any idea that they can control different areas and aspects of their life. So today, what do we do for content? For our Supersize Your Business idiom, our December idioms, my little bear friend today. Oh, I didn't eat my chocolates. I'm sure I'll get to them. So many sweets over the holidays. I don't even want to think about them. We talked about dead ends. We're talking about ending for this last week of the year since it's the end of the year. And today's idiom was a dead end. So we shared what does a dead end have to do with growing and building and supersizing your business. Get Up and Go challenge today was about contribution, the area of aspect of our life called contribution, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution for the 7 areas that I've actually set goals in for decades. That's been my framework that I've used. Learned it in probably the late 80s from Tony Robbins and the gang, that whole personal development gang. That's when I first discovered that I could change my life by learning more about myself and understanding myself better. Did I do much in the 80s and the 90s with respect to that? Not really. Got my education, worked in corporate America, started some businesses, but for the most part, just kind of lived my life and did what other people expected of me. And it wasn't until I had a huge wake-up call in 2010 that I actually took to heart. Now, I did a lot of, in the 2000s, I did a lot of training and development and personal development because I found it fascinating. But it wasn't until after my sudden cardiac arrest that I really made massive changes in the area of my life and personal development and actually made choices for my own life. Up until then, I pretty much did what was expected of me as a wife, as a mom, as a business owner, as a member of my community. And a lot of those things obviously did not make me happy. So I needed to make some massive changes. And then earlier this year in April, I added 2 areas to my long-term planning and goals. Those are communication and confidence. And I was thinking about them today as I realized there's a whole lot of stuff I need to tie up and finish up or schedule to finish up in a coaching program that I'm involved in. And I missed an event because it was the holidays and there was a lot going on, and some things that I want to catch up on, some trainings and things I want to catch up on. So I'm like, okay, when am I going to schedule those? How am I going to get those done? The year's almost over and I only have so much time to get those things accomplished. I think I've got till March, so that'll be fine. Because it's probably something I'm not going to re-up for, if you know what I mean. If you have coaches, and if you ever had coaches, you know that we have different coaches for different areas and aspects of our life at different times of our life. Think of an athlete, a physical athlete, a tennis player or a football player or any sport. They have coaches for the time that they're playing that sport, but once they leave that sport and stop doing it, they don't have that coach anymore, right? The same is true in our lives. We have business coaches, we have different skills type coaches, we have different industry type coaches for the time period that we need them. We don't have them forever. It's kind of like having a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I guess I've never had one, but I have some relatives that have gone to the same psychiatrist for 25, 30 years. And I'm like, if I had to go to see somebody once a week or even once a month for 25 or 30 years, I would ask myself how effective the strategies that that person is applying are for me in my life. And I would say, no. So I've had lots and lots of coaches in my life in different areas and aspects of my life, but they're always for a finite period of time. If I don't outgrow my coach, then I'm not growing, and I'm probably not getting my money's worth, and I'm not investing in myself well if I have to stay with that coach for an extended period of time. Now, I know there are people that like to stay with a certain coach for a long period of time, but again, I contend if we're growing and developing, and if that coach is really effective in teaching us the thing that we've hired them for, do we need to stay with them forever? My personal answer is no. Some people, yes, but my personal answer is no. And so that's why I want to tie that up and get that taken care of. But I think it's a fascinating area of our life. I'm really glad I've added that and those foundational skills to my goal setting for this year. Will I keep them? I'll probably keep those areas next year as well. But then after that, chances are they'll fall off because I ought to have communication and confidence nailed in enough, or put systems and processes in place that they continually improve for the rest of my life, that I don't have to consciously participate in calls and coaching sessions and accountability sessions and trainings on those topics, because I can continue to learn on my own. I can read more books. I can study things as they come out. I get the skills I need to continually improve in those areas without having to have somebody directly hold my hand and coach me in that area. If that makes sense. That's my perspective on coaching. Everybody's different, right? Some people think, you should hire a coach and you should be with that coach forever. I personally think if you're not outgrowing your coach, then you're not growing yourself fast enough. And that's my yardstick on whether I need to stay with a coach or not. And that's why we have different coaches throughout our lives. I've had dozens and dozens of coaches and consultants and masterminds and things because they're fun, and I know that they help me to exponentially grow in the area that I need to grow in at the time. I think we are attracted to the coach that's right for us at the time we need that particular thing that they can do for us. All right, so that's a sidetracked conversation. So that all came from contributions. Contribution was our area, and we discussed the SOAP framework with respect to that today. And we talked about code of conduct, what we stand for, what we stand against, drawing that line in the sand for what we will and will not tolerate or do for ourselves, or tolerate, and I guess it's a way of setting boundaries, what we will and will not accept from other people, situations, jobs, etc., businesses, relationships. And then we talked about our own personal slogan or mantra or motto, and do we have one of those? And if not, it's a fun thing to create. So we're creating that today as part of our contribution SOAP framework. That's our tool today. Our annual challenge really coming to an end. We just have, today was day 361, and it was about painting paradise. You have the paintbrushes, you have all the colors, you have everything you need inside you already to paint paradise and walk and step right into it. And I think that's a wonderful saying and a wonderful thought for today. So we're asking ourselves, what am I painting with respect to my paradise today? It's kind of like my personal question is, what am I creating now? What am I creating now? What am I creating now? So whenever something comes up and I'm like upset or something, instead of saying WTF, which used to be my primary question, I say, what am I creating now? So that is what I am working on. Busy finishing up the year. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll just be with you tomorrow to fill you in on what I'm doing and documenting the journey of what's up as I build my businesses and personally develop and change my life. Have an awesome day.